Well, Stanford fans had an enjoyable day. They watched the Cardinal football team emerge with a bowl victory in El Paso, Texas. Now they come to Maples Pavilion to watch the men start the Pac-12 season. 8-4 Stanford hosting 7-6 Arizona State. Ted Robbins and Don McClain with you on Pac-12 Network. Don, let's find out what we've learned in non-con about these teams.
Well, we know they've had a crazy non-conference schedule. These two guys transferred, came with Bobby Hurley from Buffalo. They've been big time, and this guy has had some monster games here in November and December. And Coach Hurley's still getting after the officials, and I don't mind it, Ted. If they're not calling it right, let's get after them. But Bobby Hurley's still trying to implement his culture and his way of doing things in Tempe. For Stanford, this guy's been hurt for the last 2 years. He's finally healthy, and look at the numbers. Everybody's got to have a game plan for him. He's difficult to deal with. Torian Pickens, 47% from behind the line, had 7 threes in the last game against Idaho. And then the point guard, still a work in progress. Cartwright started in that last game against Idaho, and now he starts again tonight. Had a career high in that Idaho game.
And there is first-year coach Jared Hassan. He's continuing with a new backcourt. This is going on several games. Sounds like it may continue with Cartwright and Sheffield.
Well, I think long-term you want Cartwright as your point guard. You know, he had the horrific injury 2 years ago and still coming back from that. But I think, again, long-term he's going to be the better person for that.
And, of course, for Bobby Hurley's going to try to have to match a little bit tonight against Stanford's size. Oleka and Tashumpa will both start with the 3 guards. We should also mention one significant absence tonight. Michael Humphrey has been a starter much of his Stanford career, coming off the bench now, but suffered a blow to the head in practice this week. Michael Humphrey's in the Stanford concussion protocol, not going to play tonight.
Will be reevaluated, though. Quick turnaround for Stanford. They have Arizona here on Sunday, so hopefully for him and Coach Jared Hass, he'll be able to play on Sunday.
So we're set to go. The conference opener for the Sun Devils and the Cardinal. Tony Padilla joined by Deldre Carr and Kevin Brill, the trio of officials. Stanford opening at home for the 4th straight year in conference play. Not that way ASU. 6 of the last 7 years they've opened conference on the road.
Well, game plan will be interesting tonight because you know Stanford wants to go inside to Travis. Arizona State may even play some zone tonight.
Oh, a travel called as Travis tried to get a quick flip over to Tashumpa.
Well, Tashumpa would have fouled him had Travis not traveled. But again, it's difficult to deal with a guy like Travis because if you double team, then it really throws your defense out of whack, and you got to be good in your rotations.
All right, it was a bad screen, and so this is the one thing that Arizona State was wisely concerned about, Don, was the foul trouble to big guys, and Tashumpa picked up one there on the screen.
Well, it's difficult to deal with these Arizona State guards, and Stanford playing man-to-man has to be careful not to get in foul trouble as well, trying to keep these guys in front.
Cartwright, quick 3 off the wing. Stanford, despite Pickens' outstanding individual number that Don mentioned, Stanford shooting as a team just 31% from the 3-point line.
Teams are going to pack it in. Evans with the turnover there. But they have to find a way, Ted, to make some threes. And I hate to say this, but watching them, even in shoot-around this afternoon, they don't make a lot of them. And so until they prove that they can make some, teams are just going to pack in their man and play zone against them.
Sheffield, nice move by Marcus Sheffield, took Cody Justice in on the left.
Well, that's why I say long-term, I think this is a solution. Cartwright and Sheffield, let them grow. Sanders serviceable, but not the long-term solution. Him being a senior, this is his last year in the program. I think you give Cartwright and Sheffield a chance, as I said, to really grow in the starting lineup.
Well, you saw Stanford run the double right at Oleka, and eventually Justice buries a 3.
Well, he's the one you don't really think about when you think about Graham and Evans and Holder, but he can hurt you from behind that line just under 40%.
There'll probably be a few more minutes for Grant Verhoeven tonight, given Humphrey's absence.
I think you'll see Sharma maybe a little bit more as well. You can see how packed in this Arizona State defense is. They're in man, but everybody's got a foot in the paint.
All right, late clock. Cartwright has to go here. Nice little setup. Boy, that was nicely done by Robert Cartwright.
Well, what will help Stanford is if Travis can prove he can make that shot, that you don't only have to get it to him on the block. If he can step out, now the defense really has a problem, as you saw there in that half-court set.
Holder got inside, lost the ball, but a foul. I'm going to go back to that last play, Don, and say that would be, I'm sure, a reason why Jared Hass is going to want Robert Cartwright in there, is that he can make that play, late clock, no panic, sets up a beautiful setup.
He was highly regarded coming out of high school and had that horrific arm injury, and it took him a long. We were talking about it today. Not only physically, it took him a long time to come back, Cartwright, but mentally, I think. And I think you're now starting to see the talent he had come out.
Well, Stanford losing Verhoeven with his second foul. And Arizona State, they took to Shump out after his first quick foul. Torian Graham with the answer.
Transition defense, a big key for Stanford tonight, too. These guards really want to push it, get it down the court, and get early threes.
Oleka, a little bit out of control there. That ball, apparently, I think that hit the shot clock when that hit something above the basket, so that's an out of bounds coming back in to Stanford.
Early, it looks like two teams that have been off for 8 days, right? A little bit out of sync, trying to find their way here. I'm sure they'll settle into the game.
Travis inside, nice catch and finish. So,
well, good delivery by Cartwright, but that can't happen if you're Arizona State. A simple lob over the top. Where's the backside help for Arizona State?
You watch Arizona State play, Don, especially the last few games. Justice drains a three. Their last game against an outmatched opponent, Central Arkansas, they shoot 45 threes, but it appears that's the way they're going to play, outside both offense and defense.
They have to.
Yep.
They have to. Their guards is their strength, and they feel like they can shoot a high percentage. That's going to win them games.
Oh, there's Sharma, who came in off the bench early, spiking Shannon Evans.
Well, I was here early in the season, and Sharma had a breakout game, and you're sitting there saying, wow, if he can provide this for them, it's really going to improve this Stanford team, and he really hasn't capitalized on that, or it hasn't continued, but he's got some talent, and I think once he figures out how to play hard and impact the game, he's going to have an effect for Stanford.
Oleka got in, got a bump. And a foul on Sharma. So Stanford's big man picking up a couple of fouls early here in the first 4-minute stretch. Couple of threes by Justice have Arizona State in front. Pac-12 basketball brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. With great beer comes great responsibility. By Black Bear Diner. Good. Pac-12 basketball brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. With great beer comes great responsibility.
Although Shawshank Redemption is a close second.
Stanford fans, it's time for the Piece of My Heart halftime score challenge. Guess what Stanford's score will be at the end of the first half? If you guess the score correctly, you will win an entire pizza. If you guess within 2 points, you will win a free slice. Text your guess for Stanford's score at halftime by texting just the number.
Pac-12 basketball brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. With great beer comes great responsibility. By Black Bear Diner, good old-fashioned family food. And by Dollar Shave Club, look, feel, and shave like $1,000,000 without paying for it. All right, welcome to Palo Alto for the beginning of Pac-12 basketball season for these two schools. And obviously, I'm fascinated. I asked Bobby Hurley this in our pregame chat, Don, about the Stanford phenomenon, because you have a new coach. You often think new, but every player for Jared Haas is a returning player.
Yeah.
So it's a new coach, but very familiar faces to everybody.
But even though you have experience, you still have to learn a whole new system, all new terminology, a whole new way of doing things, and that takes time. But I think the benefit for Jared Haas, as we're now starting conference play, is you have some guys that have been through it. So on the road, tough environments, meaningful games, you at least have that as you're implementing this new way of doing things.
I've got to say, I like Jared Haas. He went up to his home, which is up in South Tahoe, for the 3-day Christmas break. He doesn't ski.
No.
And we both agreed with that.
I don't. Every physical therapy center I was in after one of my surgeries from playing basketball, I was sitting next to somebody that was injured from skiing. So that curtailed me from ever hitting the slopes.
That means he's a hoop guy. It's about hoops. So 1 out of 2 by Oleka at the line for Arizona State.
Like what Arizona State's doing defensively. They've had a couple lapses here, losing track of Reed Travis and a foul there on Oleka. But they're doing what I think everybody's going to do, Ted, until they figure it out, and that's pack it in and make Stanford shoot.
All right, so Bobby Hurley going to have to go to bench Ramon Villa in the game. Freshman from Barcelona.
Is depth going to be a factor for this Arizona State team? They play 8 guys, but all the starters play 30-plus minutes.
Yeah, only have 10 dressed.
Foul trouble, hopefully not, but injuries. So it's going to be interesting as we go through an 18-game conference schedule with the roster that Bobby Hurley is starting out with.
Evans trying to get in, and there's another one. That's the second spike by Sharma. This one's saved by Sheffield.
That's all he has to do. He is athletic. He's all at 7 feet. Rebound and protect the rim. 2 plays already in this one where he sent shots right back.
Sheffield off the scramble. Sheffield scored.
He makes something out of nothing there, but he turned down a 3 that was open. 1 bounce dribble inside the line.
It's interesting. Stanford, Travis following Justice, and there's a 3 knocked down by Trey Holder.
Holder pretty good off the bounce. Ever since he's come to Tempe, has had the ability to get in the lane and get his own off the dribble. See, there it is. That time he takes it, and it's off right.
Holder goes in. That one's denied inside again by Stanford. Will come out of bounds.
Not a good decision by Holder on that one. Over penetrates, tries to make something out of nothing. Evans tried to get to the body, but Sharma sent that one back. And then here, Holder kind of driving into no man's land. Sharma has an effect on that shot as well.
Maurice O'Field in the game. He's missed the last couple for the Sun Devils. Concussion protocol for him. Reed Travis stays in the game for Stanford. I'll tell you the one thing you notice right away watching Arizona State, Don, dribbling.
Yeah,
a lot of dribbling.
They're trying to make plays, and late clock they get nothing this time. You know, Holder, if you're going to penetrate, Holder or Graham or Evans, if you're going to penetrate, guys got to move with the penetrator to get to open spots so you have the release on the kick out. You can't just stand there and watch them. Stanford knows these guards want to penetrate, so the bigs are aware, and they're off of the guy that they're guarding to help out.
Klay Thompson just had a game in the NBA. It's been talked about a lot. 60 points, 11 dribbles.
Yeah.
There were more than 11 dribbles on that possession by ASU.
Oh, absolutely.
Sheffield showing some aggression here on offense. And when Jared Haas talks about the change and making this backcourt change, the word he used was offense. And you're seeing it, I think, early,
Yeah.
Don, from Sheffield and Cartwright.
Absolutely. Even more Cartwright playmaking, but I think you need Sheffield to score. Because if Sheffield scores and you got Pickens, who's a floor spacer at 47%, what does that do? That opens up the paint a little bit for Reed Travis, and now you can play the way you want to play, which is inside out. But it's too easy for teams just to surround Reed Travis because they're not worried about the alternative on the perimeter.
All right, Sheffield with 6 out of the 10 Stanford points. Vila setting some screens here.
See, guys are standing. That ball screen, yeah. Evans didn't really turn the corner. He had nowhere to go, but everyone's just standing watching. That's
nice
better.
That's better. O'Field, a good baseline pass by O'Field, and Vila finishes.
Well, on the ball screen, O'Field started going into the paint, or started towards the paint. He found him, and then the second pass for the layup.
Cameron Walker in for the first time. So Marcus Allen sets up Sheffield, and Sheffield knocks it down.
A welcome sight for Jared Haas.
First made 3 for Stanford. Sanders in the game for the first time. Little flip, ooh, and Vila had that one all around the rim, but out.
I'd like to see him take a dribble and try and dunk that. That's a hard shot, that little 5-foot flip shot.
Heading into a timeout zone here. Stanford getting Travis. It's for his first breather. Sharma's put back strong, and then that's out off Cameron Walker. And that'll get us into the next official timeout. Just over 8 minutes in of the conference opener at Maples Pavilion. Well, Stanford represents this Conference of Champions so well. They've added in an extraordinary array of Olympic sports. Second-straight College Cup for the men's soccer team. And another national championship. 7th for the women's volleyball team. That just happened about 2 weeks ago.
You know how I know this is all what it is? If you look at the Coors Light cold hard facts, UCLA 113, Stanford creeping up on them. My 14-year-old's with me this weekend on this trip up here, and he said when we were driving away from shoot-around today, doesn't Stanford win a lot of championships?
Smart young man.
So there we go.
Yeah. Yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And a great credit to UCLA there at 113, but Stanford winning its bowl game today in the Sun Bowl. Smaller crowd here tonight with school closed. A lot of Stanford fans making the trip to El Paso or having bowl watch parties at home today. And wish the best to Keller Christ, the Stanford quarterback, suffered
a
significant knee injury in that game today that certainly is going to carry into 2017. You just hope he'll be fine and ready to go next September.
Well, here's what's obvious. Watching Arizona State for the first time in person.
As I see today Bryce Love stepped into McCaffrey's absence, and Solomon Thomas made the game-saving tackle on a 2-point play. And my partner at football, Yogi Roth, who declared Solomon Thomas Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, was right. He played like it today.
Yeah.
Well done, Yogi. And Solomon.
What I was going to say about Arizona State is this, that they want to drive to make plays, but they need better player movement. Stanford has to keep them in front without fouling. Like on that last play, Oleka just put his head down, went to the paint, and Cameron Walker fouled him. You got to know that that's coming.
Pickens trying to bounce it back. Walker with a track down, still time. Justice closed quickly, so Pickens took it in, and a foul is called. And is that on to Shump? I believe so.
He met him at the rim. This to Shump. I'm telling you right now, Ted, if this kid continues to work, and I'm not sure that was a foul, Pickens was going to turn that over on him. To Shump having none of it. If this kid continues to work, based on what you're looking at, the toolbox he has, don't be surprised if he plays in the NBA at some point. Because when he gets off the bus, he looks like an NBA player. No doubt.
And because of the hometown, if you're not familiar with him, he's not played a whole lot of high school ball. He came to the sport late, and Bobby Hurley with us today was very open talking about the concern. And you see it. He's played 2 minutes tonight and has 2 fouls. And that was Bobby's concern going against Travis. Could he stay on the court?
That's from a lack of playing. Yeah, exactly. Understanding how to play without fouling, knowing when to pull it back.
Oh, Evans, they parted for him. Ooh, Evans not able to finish, but that... man, they gave him a wide lane just to take it right to the basket.
Well, just back to my point from a minute ago, you know they're driving.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be surprised, and/or he shouldn't have a lane like this when you know it's coming. And if you're going to rely on backside help and guys rotating over to block shots, it's going to be a long night because Arizona State's going to be at that free throw line where they are really good, 75% as a team on the season, which is third best in school history. Right on cue, Evans misses one.
And Oleka gives him another shot. Torian Graham off the baseline.
Tough shot.
Yep. That was, you can see he had to arc that ball around the plane to the backboard. Cameron Walker with 2 fouls now for Stanford. Verhoeven with 2. Tashumpa 2 for Arizona State. Transition for Graham. That's been a bigger part of ASU's game. They were not a good transition team last year, Don. Much better so far.
No, and you can tell Graham really understands how to score. One of those guys that, what does he do well offensively? Well, he's pretty good at everything offensively. And to your point, Ted, as we watch that last play by Graham, avoids the offensive foul with the one-legged runner. This game hasn't been as much up and down as I thought it would be. I thought we'd see a little more transition, teams, a little more flow to the game. It's been more of a half-court, choppy game here the first 10 or so minutes.
Wouldn't you think that's what Stanford would prefer?
Yes. I think the game is being played right now how Stanford wants it. but they're down 5.
Yeah, if you look at tempo on Ken Palm, it's Arizona State's up there and Stanford's down there, but they're a good defensive team.
Yep.
Fewer points per possessions, etc. Sharma hits the foul line jump.
But it's really for Stanford about, even if the complexion of the game is how you want it, but you can't make enough shots, that's why you would be down at this point. That last time out, they were shooting 42% as a team.
How about Bobby Hurley going back to Shump? He's got
I
him
like
on the floor
it.
with 2 fouls.
Why not? He's got to figure it out at some point.
Step back holder.
See, to me, that's easy to guard. And I know his guards are his strength, and he gives them a lot of freedom because they're good players. But if shot selection isn't great, then you're going to have a problem. You want guys to make open shots and create open shots and create for others, not just make it a one-on-one thing.
Holder goes in. Boy, had that right at the rim.
But, I mean, that's 2 possessions in a row where he's just going on his own with the dribble.
Allen back. Travis to follow. 6 points now for Reed Travis.
At some point, you would think Reed Travis is going to wear down the smaller Arizona State front line. I mean, Shumpa's got the size. Oleka, really plays the 5 a lot of the time. But Reed Travis is a load down there. Haven't seen a guy come into this league with that kind of size. And you and I were talking about this at shoot-around, and I noticed this being up here a couple times. His base is so good that you can't move him off his spot, but yet he still moves really well. Most guys aren't like that. If they have a great base, their feet aren't as good.
Yeah, but look at this. When he's been in the game here, look who he's guarding.
Yeah,
he's guarding Cody Justice, a shooting guard, right? And that's not what you'd expect to think of a post forward in the offense.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that would be possible.
Cartwright. Travis crashing, and Travis scoring.
See, 2 possessions in a row on the offensive board. The guys running back for Arizona State have no chance of keeping Reed Travis off of that offensive board.
Well, this first half really shows me something, and it shows me what Jared Haas thinks of Reed Travis. You guard this guy. Now Justice there got a step. Sets up Graham.
See, that's a good shot. When the ball moves, you get good shots. Graham just didn't knock it down.
And Oleka doesn't like that call. That's going to be the 2nd foul on Obi Oleka. All right, our crew's ready for you in our studios. The State Farm halftime report. Guy Matt Eldridge with you tonight.
Here comes a double from the top, but they're not rotating out of it. Got away with it. Justice came from the top. There's got to be movement on the backside.
All right, almost 3 minutes without a point for ASU, and Reed Travis has been picking it up.
He plays hard. He's a load to deal with down there.
Into the games. Don't play passive. Don't play nervous. Play aggressive with everything you do, especially on this end. Then we'll be able to run and get good things. It's got to be better.
We have to play throughout the
Action on the defensive end and on the offensive end. Play with pace. Carry over what we've done to practice into the games. Don't play passive. Don't play nervous. Play aggressive with everything you do, especially on this end. Then we'll be able to run and get good things. It's got to be better.
So, Don, I'm going to ask you a question since you've been in part of these things for a long time and being around Stanford games this year and listening to Jared Hass, as we just heard there, I sense he's trying to get a different mindset going here. I heard that. Don't be passive, be aggressive. I've heard that, variations of that a lot from him.
Well, let's see if we can do this in a short amount of time. When you recruit players to Stanford, they have to fit a certain mold. They have to have certain academic achievements. And so you're recruiting guys that probably don't have a ton of edge to them. But you can create that by building a culture where you play hard and play tough and play with some nastiness. And I think that's what to answer your question, yes, that's what he's trying to do, is get these guys to play with a little different mentality.
Trey Holder with the hoop for the Sun Devils. Nice setup, and Pickens had a good, clean look.
Inside out, that's how Stanford wants to play. Sharma under control. Kick out to Pickens, he knocks it down.
Second made three, as you see there for Stanford. Well, I'll say this. Jared Hass isn't the first, nor will he be the last Stanford coach to confront that phenomenon. And all you need to do is look at what happened today and look at Solomon Thomas and the way he played that last play of the Sun Bowl. And you see that Stanford football here with David Shaw has been able to do that very thing.
Well, and going back to when I played, Mike Montgomery and his teams here at Stanford, they played tough and played hard. They got to a Final Four. So it can be done.
Cartwright. Run down by Evans. And part of this is the inevitable meeting of new coach with holdover players. That's why I was referencing this to you at the beginning. Usually a new coach comes in maybe with a different style, has some of his own players to play it. Stanford, and Bobby had the same thing last year at ASU, same exact deal.
Well, it's always for a first-year head coach about changing the way things are done. But I think with Jared Hass, though, Ted, he's going to have to recruit a certain type of player to get here. So you really have to change the culture. If you're dealing with kids maybe that, like I said earlier, are coming from a different background, have different things, and these two played each other. Look a lot different back then, as we all did.
Of course, that was the 1 year Jared Hass played at Cal. Played alongside Jason Kidd as a freshman. Then Jared transferred to Kansas. Played out his career there as a good player with some great Kansas teams. And then coached with Roy Williams as Travis takes it in. And today Stanford announced a real nice announcement for Stanford and for the conference, that Stanford announced a home-and-home basketball series with North Carolina.
That's great.
And they'll play here at Maples Pavilion next November, North Carolina. Return game the following year.
That's great. Like you said, great for our conference. Anytime you can get blue blood, national power teams to come play home and home with you, that's a great thing for everybody involved in the Pac-12.
And it's been hard traditionally to get those kinds of schools to play in the Pac-12 venues, especially here. You only have 7,000 and change seats. It's hard to get them to play in this venue. Mike Montgomery did it over a decade ago. He got Jim Calhoun to bring UConn out here, and that's the last one I can remember of a national program that came and played here. Graham with a nice runner, Torian Graham.
I said it earlier, he's just one of those guys that can find the basket. He knows how to find the basket and put it in the basket. Leads the Sun Devil team in scoring, 17.5 a night. Coming off the bench for the most part. has accepted that role. He started a few, now back off the bench again tonight, but he doesn't care as long as he goes out and gets buckets.
Good step in. Well, Sheffield's having a really good first half on offense. 11 points now.
They need that from him. It helps everybody. It helps Reed Travis. It takes some pressure off of Pickens. If he can be offensive-minded and give them some production.
Boy, that's nice. There, Justice took advantage. A little blow-by on Reed Travis there.
Nice setup is right. Drew the secondary defender and then just dropped it off to Vila. And now
there's a nice setback.
Now he's got it going, Ted. Confidence is a big thing in basketball, and I think for Sheffield, being given the starting job, he gets off to a good start. Now there's no hesitation. He's just playing, and he's scoring.
Jared Haas has gone very deep into his bench with Michael Humphrey not playing tonight. Freshman Trevor Stanback is on the floor. Has not played much. That was him flipping the ball to Sheffield.
Look at that. In the first half, we still got 5 minutes to go.
Marcus Sheffield from Alpharetta, Georgia. That's the Atlanta metro area. Man, his career high in points is 17. 13 here in the first.
He's probably going to get that tonight. You know what's interesting? I just looked up at the score, and this is no knock on anybody or anything, but if watching this game, you would think that Stanford's winning this game.
Yes.
And they're not.
That is a good reminder for us every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I was feeling the same exact thing, is that Stanford's made some plays, but Arizona State scored points.
They have manufactured more offense than Stanford has.
Going to get the hands call there on Shannon Evans. Both teams into the bonus. Neither team to 10 yet.
Well, as we start conference play, is the game going to be officiated like this every night? Is it going to be consistent? Are the hand checks going to be called like they were in November? And every time they do this, the rules committee, it starts out in November with a ton of fouls, and then all of a sudden players adjust to a certain degree, but I think the game gets called a little bit different. And tonight we're kind of back to how it was being officiated in November at the start of the season. As a player, all you want is consistency. Knowing if it's going to be called like this every night, great, I'll adjust to it.
Did you have scouting reports, even internal, on officials when you saw who the officials were? You felt, okay, I know how the game's likely to get called tonight?
No, but you knew how much you could, especially me, you knew each guy. Graham knocks down another one.
Three from the wing.
You knew guys that you could deal with, if you will, and guys that you couldn't.
Right, that's a personal knowledge. You understand who you can talk to. There's a wing three, and Sanders, well, he passed one up, took the second one, and made it.
I've spent all night talking about how Stanford can't make a three, and now they're making them. It's a great sign and a great sight for Jared Haas.
Graham. Boy, that one rebound came glancing right down to O'Field, and the inside-out game sets up Holder.
Well, that's their thing. Arizona State being so small, to win games, they're going to have to make threes.
Nice flash there. Vila came in to deny the entry to Travis.
They're so aware of Travis, and they weren't doing that great of a job early. They are now.
And they played most of this first half without Tashumpa. He's only been on the floor a couple of minutes. Arizona State, and they have the lead in the final 4 minutes of the half. Ooh, Holder rimming it out. And then Evans steals. 2 on 2. There you go. That's it. Well, I think if one play's going to signify Sun Devil basketball in 2017,
right there.
I think that's it.
Steal, walk-up three. Arizona State's got to make some threes to win. They're making them 7-point lead here at Maples.
time for our Reese's Shoot for Two. We've seen Marcus Sheffield do it in the first half for Stanford.
You know what my favorite thing is, Ted, when I look at a box score? When a guy has more points than minutes played. Sheffield's got 15 points in 14 minutes.
Okay.
That's when you know you got it going good.
We've just come up with the McLean corollary. I'm going to get Adam Gordon to make up a little thing on that. That's great. That's a good call. I was calling games way back in the day. You were still playing the pros, I think, for Cal, and Ed Gray ended up playing in the NBA for a little while. Ed Gray went up to Pullman, scored 49 in 21 or 22 minutes.
That's really 49. Good. That's really good.
All right, Arizona State. And it's the old story now. Can you close out? If they can play the last 3 minutes of this half well, they'll have a nice spot going in at halftime. And a little bump there on the hedge, and that's going to be a second foul on Stanford's Josh Sharma. A lot of guys with 2, nobody with 3 here so far.
But the problem is this, is they're driving and getting fouls.
Of course, we're 2:49 from the State Farm halftime report, starting our doubleheader night of men's ball. UCLA, Oregon State to follow.
Interesting to see how UCLA bounces back tonight. Heartbreaking loss the other night. I'm still not sure how they lost.
I was just going to say that. I watched it and I said the same thing. Yeah. I'm not sure how they lost.
But give Oregon credit. And Dylan Brooks, that was a big-time shot at the buzzer with all that pressure, all that defense, and he knocked it down.
And it's more than just, a great foul shooter happening to miss a foul shot. It was more than that. It was the last couple of minutes of the game. I just wasn't sure. I was watching. How's this happening?
I can't remember a game where I've seen a team that had complete control of it.
Yeah.
And you're saying to yourself, okay, UCLA is going to win this thing. And then all of a sudden, as you said, it just unraveled on them.
Well, it's set a good tone, I think, for the top of the conference this year, because those are 2 good teams.
And I think it reminds people of what everyone thought of Oregon before the season started. They lost a couple games. Dylan Brooks was out of the lineup. So expectation for Oregon went down. Hey, they still got the same roster.
Oh, that's a tough foul there on Evans of Arizona State. He's using there trying to rebound the ball against Reed Travis. Well, there's what happened Wednesday night in the conference openers. A thriller, the buzzer beater in Eugene. Fairly decisive win for USC in Corvallis.
They were up big at halftime and kind of let Oregon State back in it. But no one's talking about USC, and they're talented enough to make a run at this thing. They need to get Benny Boatwright back at some point. He's a big factor for them, and I think if he comes back and he can get himself back into shape and back into rhythm, they really become a problem for everyone in the conference.
Of course, they're playing in Eugene tonight, and then they'll be home next weekend. It'll be the Bay Area schools at the Los Angeles schools. Nice spin. Boy, Trey Holder with a pretty drive.
Said it earlier, Ted. He's always been able to do that. Get by his defender and get in the lane. It's always been about him being able to knock down shots when guys back off of him, and then decision-making once he gets into that paint.
13-point half for Holder. Sanders up, and Sanders knocks it down. Boy, nice shot by Christian Sanders.
That was a tough shot. Yes. One bounce going left, defender right in his face.
Well, one thing that's unfolded in this first half is, even though, as we said, the game is being played maybe at Stanford's pace, the points are where Arizona State wants it. This is way more their style. Graham hits.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't say that because Fultz is probably going to average 25 a night, but Graham could make a run at leading the conference in scoring.
Nice entry. Verhoeven back in the game after a long time sitting and sets up Reed Travis, who's fouled. Well, we're not even waiting until January 1st.
No way,
to get the RPI going.
No way. The biggest thing, and I said this last year about Washington State heading into conference play, Oregon State might be the most important team in the conference. Why? Because if you're a team that has NCAA tournament aspirations, you cannot lose to them with that 320 RPI. And so maybe not for the Oregons and the UCLAs of the world and maybe even USC, but that Arizona, Colorado, Cal, those teams that maybe have a chance to get into the NCAA tournament, you better make sure you don't fall asleep against Oregon State.
And I'll say the other thing that comes out of that number to me, much more important than the RPI right now, is strength of schedule. And you saw Stanford with the toughest in the conference right now. Oregon's very good, and Utah's last, dead last. And we knew Utah was shuffling players this year, a lot of new guys, but Utah, that's not going to help. Beating Utah is not going to help during conference play as much as it should.
No, and I would say this about Stanford. They're set up that if they have a good Pac-12 conference regular season, they could get into the tournament because of that strength of schedule number. If their RPI stays 40-ish, I think they have a chance. But this game, losing this game would really hurt that.
Exactly. And we were together doing the games. You see where Graham stands right now. And ASU scoring a lot of points. We were doing the game Butler at Utah. And Mike Schrage, who was on the Stanford staff, is now on the Butler staff, and he talked about how this schedule was set up by the Johnny Dawkins crew, expecting this team to be an experienced team, would be able to handle it, junior players. That's why they scheduled this way.
And they traveled like crazy, went to China for the opener against Harvard. They've been everywhere. See, both these teams really traveled a lot in the non-conference.
So Vila picks up that call. That's his second for Arizona State. Just look at where Stanford's games so far this year. Stanford's averaging 68.5, allowing 65. So you can see where the first half score is not where Stanford's used to having it.
Arizona State scores 82 a game and gives up 82 a game.
Holder with 15 and Graham with 13 for the Sun Devils. Graham's going to go. And gave it up nicely, and the finish by O'Field.
They're figuring what I was talking about early in this half, Ted. They're now figuring out drive. Guys are moving, finding them, making easier plays. That's why they've scored 49 points in this half.
Well, that's going to fry Jared Haas. And there's ASU's got a shot to push and get one more look here. And Graham's going. You know that. That's good. That's good by Graham. Got it off in time for 3. And ASU hangs 52 up in the first half.
Wow. Stanford's got to be stunned at the offensive explosion at the end of this first half by Graham, by Holder. They were getting into the lane, making plays, and then that's got to take your spirit a little bit. Graham end to end for a 3 at the buzzer of the first half.
ASU made 11 of their last 13 shots, and the last one, that kick-up 3 just before the buzzer by Torian Graham. 13-point lead for the Sun Devils at Stanford. State Farm halftime report next.
Fans, it's time for tonight's halftime scrimmage. Welcome to the court, the City Dance 4th grade boys team from Union City. Number 2, Adrian Pearson. Number 12, Evan Yao. Number 21, Ziggy Corporal. Number 22, Noah Liggett. Number 24, Jalen Thomas. Number 25, Roland Simokis. 32, Isaiah LaRosa. 34, Ishan Ali. 35, Lucas Chan. 23, Kevin Gretzky. And number 42, Jack Pineda. And they're tipped off, and here we go.
Pac-12 basketball brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. With great beer comes great responsibility. By Black Bear Diner, good old-fashioned family food. And by Dollar Shave Club, look, feel, and shave like $1 million without paying for it. All right, this is going to be interesting. I think we're both, Don and I, are going to be fascinated to watch the first 4 minutes of this half and just see. Stanford was in the locker room a long time. As you see the scoring leaders from Bass Pro Shops in the net. Sheffield, that's just 2 points off his career high, and he did it in the first half. Travis had 12 and 5.
Well, you and I talked about it before it even happened, Ted. We were talking about the type of player that Stanford gets and how Jared has to change the approach and the mentality and toughness. And I don't think they responded to Arizona State coming at them the last 7 or 8 minutes of that first half. Do they come out and match the toughness here to start the second half?
You know, the other interesting number, Arizona State, for a team that can shoot a lot of threes. They had 12 shot threes in the first half. They had 14 free throw attempts. And I think that's one thing you worry about if you're a team that leans on the three.
Yeah, they were driving it,
yes.
and Stanford was putting their hands on them. I think Stanford will do a better job of containing penetration here in this second half, or at least you would think they would.
Well, Lekas had a hard screen, got the ball back, and Tashumpa is going to be, let's see what the call here is, fouled by Stanford.
I think they have a double foul.
Or do they? All right, so that is going to be a foul on each side. So that'll be 3 each way. Shumpa to Shumpa has only played 3 minutes in this game and has 3 fouls.
Even though it's a double foul, no one's advantage. Well, it really hurts Arizona State with Tashumpa picking up his third.
It is the third on Verhoeven. And there's Marcus Sheffield coming right out to bang the first shot down and set a new career high, 18 points.
See if he can keep it going, not only tonight to try and get Stanford back in this one, but as we move through the conference season.
What's interesting tonight, at least for this half plus, is that it's been Sheffield and not Dorian Pickens who's been the offensive focal point away from Reed Travis.
Well, somebody's got to step up. I'm sure Pickens is the second line in the scouting report under Reed Travis. You see Holder. Verhoeven, nice job of stepping in there. Was he outside the restricted area? Couldn't see on that angle.
Second foul on Holder. Dorian Pickens only 3 field goal attempts in the first half, all 3-pointers. Under 10 now for Cartwright. Oleka banging with Travis at the post. And Cartwright had a good look.
It's exactly what Arizona State wants. Pack in that man, make him shoot a 3 at the end of the clock.
Graham going right in at Verhoeven. Verhoeven challenged even with the 3 fouls. Stanford running, and Sheffield off the Cartwright assist.
Stanford needs more of that. Get stops, get out, beat them down the floor, get the crowd into it.
All right, a quick timeout by Bobby Hurley. Stanford gets the first 5 of the second half.
Stanford women's basketball in their next home game on Friday, January the 6th. They take on the Oregon Ducks right here inside the Pavilion. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. For tickets, visit stanford.com/tickets.
very quiet on the Stanford campus. In fact, the university is closed. Every building, except for the athletic building's closed this entire week.
I heard the bookstore's open, though, Ted.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's what Adam Cohen told me, one of the Stanford assistants. I couldn't believe it.
Commerce sells, huh? Now that's the shirt we need sold at the bookstore. And Bill, of course, has Stanford pedigree. Bill's up in Corvallis, UCLA, and Oregon State. Will follow us on Pac-12 Network. Tough time to, and the calendar forces this for the conference season to start here. When in this particular setting here at Stanford, no students on campus, no employees here, and no band. The Stanford band has once again run afoul of the authorities. It seems to be a fairly annual event, and they are on suspension. So there was no band today at the Sun Bowl for Stanford, nor any band here for basketball.
Some people miss the band, some people don't, I think.
I'll say this, I miss them here. I think they did a nice job in Maples Pavilion. Not so much in football. With a miss.
Them not being here definitely impacts the atmosphere, no doubt.
We were talking to the ASU side about that today. They didn't realize that was the case, and when they heard that, they go, that's good. That helps.
Look how packed in this defense is for Arizona State, not extending out at all.
So Pickens gets a look. Long rebound, though. Pickens quick to it. And he'll get the end. No, a travel call. Ooh, Pickens looked like he had an and one opportunity. No.
Well, Pickens hasn't been free all night, it seems like. He finally gets a clean look. Doesn't knock it down, but follows his shot. And you're right, I thought he was going to get an and one. Must have shuffled his feet before.
Oleka tried to roll off the screen, but Evans kept the ball, took it right into Verhoeven, and that'll be the fourth on Grant Verhoeven. If you've just joined us in progress, again, Michael Humphrey not playing tonight for Stanford. He is in the concussion protocol from a practice injury this week.
We saw this in the first half, Ted, and you would think that Stanford would learn by now that when Evans gets a ball screen or holder, they are going to keep dribbling it till they find something. And that time, Evans went to the basket, and Verhoeven bailed him out because he was out of control, off balance, but he gets 2 free throws out of it.
And Stanford a little thinner up front than they'd like to be. That means something here with Verhoeven now, 4 fouls. Sharma's going to have to play a lot of minutes, they hope, in the second half.
Well, he played well early in his first half stint, Sharma, protecting the rim.
Yeah, Josh Sharma out there. He played 12 minutes in the first half. Sheffield going on Evans, size advantage. Evans going to get called for the body foul in the lane. That'll be his third.
It's going to be an ongoing battle for Bobby Hurley all season, is managing minutes and foul problems.
And I can see it. You can see the matchup problem Sheffield, a big guard, presents. Who does Bobby Hurley really have that he can trust to defend? Because you see Sheffield, he's going to take Evans inside.
Well, that's the problem. If you're Arizona State, is you're not deep. Your guards have to be able to guard, but not get in foul trouble because you have no backline rim protection. You have no bigs. So that's really hard to do, knowing that if the guy beats you, he's probably going to score.
Sharma, boy, all of that was set up by good hustle by Travis to get into the back court and save that inbounds throw.
Sharma's got to dunk that.
Justice by Travis. Again, the kick out. You got an open left wing, but Holder goes right into the basket and missed.
That should have been one more to Oleka in the left corner.
Oleka had a wide open look at a three. Holder got to the rim, but couldn't finish with the left. Pickens to the rim, does finish.
Well, that's what he's got to start to do. If he's just on the line, he's easy to guard and easy to game plan for. The more he drives, the more he's moving off the line, makes it more difficult to check him.
So it's Travis still on Justice. Justice again gets by, tries to dump it, does dump it. Oleka has it knocked away. And that'll get us to the timeout. First time out of the second half at Maples Pavilion. A little better start for Stanford, but the Sun Devils up 8.
One minute and 49 seconds in. This is going to be a 20-minute half where let's get 5 turkeys this half. That's one. Let's see if we get 5 turkeys this half if you like what happens. There's got to be a sustained passion for what you do. Talk on defense. You guys handle that end of the floor. Get to the three-point shooters, but stay in a stance and compete. Any questions?
All about stuff, fellas. All about stuff.
1 minute and 49 seconds in. This is going to be a 20-minute half where let's get 5 turkeys this half. That's one. Let's see if we get 5 turkeys this half if you like what happens. There's got to be a sustained passion for what you do. Talk on defense. You guys handle that end of the floor. Get to the three-point shooters, but stay in a stance and compete. Any questions?
All about stuff, fellas. All about stuff.
One minute and 49 seconds in. This is going to be a 20-minute half where let's get 5 turkeys this half. That's one. Let's see if we get 5 turkeys this half if you like what happens. There's got to be a sustained passion for what you do. Talk on defense. You guys handle that end of the floor. Get to the three-point shooters, but stay in a stance and compete. Any questions?
Jared Haas dropping a little bowling on us.
Yeah, the Golden Turkeys.
Yeah.
3 straight defensive stops. Get you a turkey. He's looking for 5. They got 1 so far in the second half.
No idea he was a Lebowski fan. That makes he's just gone up in my book.
I was thinking more Kingpin.
Yeah. All right, you see ASU doesn't have a field goal yet. A couple of free throws by Evans, the only points of the half. And Graham takes care of that.
I'm telling you, that was really difficult. Off balance, defender up underneath them, and still able to knock it down.
Boy.
He is a gifted scorer.
And Graham has 19 now for ASU. Allen back in the game, sets up Cartwright. Good battling on the boards, and eventually going to be knocked out of bounds. Well, it's going to be Stanford ball. Last off of Graham. And Graham, the one thing, Don, we watched him today in the shoot. The first time I've seen them this year, but the ball does not have a traditional spin, rotation coming off his hand when he shoots. He makes it, though.
Yeah, his mechanics aren't the way you would teach it. But as I said in the first half, he's just one of those guys that knows where the basket is and just finds a way to get it in there.
Boy, that's a nice inbounds play by Stanford. Pickens gets the 2. Yeah, we always talk a difference between scorers and shooters.
Yeah, he's a scorer,
Graham,
no doubt.
Right. He doesn't look like a shooter, but he makes some shots.
That's right.
Justice Justice hit 2 threes early tonight, hasn't scored since, and he has not been in his normal offensive rhythm for the Sun Devils.
Again, though, Ted, the way the first half started, too much dribbling. Everyone's standing around watching the guy dribbling, and then late in the first half they started moving it. Let's see if Arizona State can get back to that, because they're struggling offensively here to start the second half.
Pickens going in again. Dorian Pickens.
Telling you, the more he does that, the more they're not expecting it. That's why he's scoring, and the more it'll open up that three-point line for him.
So 13 at the half for ASU. It's now to 7. And the Sun Devils with just Graham's 3, the only field goal they've made in the half. So Graham doubles down. 22.
I mean, you can't say that they're not guarding him. They are right there.
Wow.
He is making some tough shots.
And Travis right in and 1. Justice reached, and they did give the continuation here.
I mean, watch this catch and shoot right here. Yeah. Pickens, I mean, he's maybe a half a second late, but he ain't that late. And Graham knocks it down.
Graham really has a knuckleball-like shot. I mean, that's about how much his ball spins. But there he goes, knocking down back-to-backs, 4 threes in the game.
Doesn't matter if it goes in.
So, Travis had a shot there to get an and one. Better free throw shooter this year for Reed Travis, but missed that one. To Shumpa back in the game for ASU. Holder in, skids, and slides and travels.
Again, a lot of dribbling on that possession.
To Shumpa playing the post defense for ASU. Pickens. You know, this is what happened here last week. Pickens got fiery hot in the second half against Idaho.
But he got himself going with a couple layups. You know, loosened up the defense a little bit. That time he came off clean for like the second or third time all night.
Sanders and Allen in the backcourt now for Stanford. Holder trying to dribble through it all. Getting all the way in and draws a foul.
Well, he came into the night, Torian Pickens shooting 47% from behind the three-point line. Graham gets lost behind that screen, and he knocks down his second three of the night.
Well, Pickens made 7 of those in Stanford's last game a week ago last night. Game they were also down at the half and came back to win against Idaho.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't looking great at the end of the half when Graham made that runner to push it to 13. But this game's far from over, obviously. 5-point game.
And fouls going to be a factor here for Stanford, too. That's 3 fouls now on Josh Sharma, 4 on Verhoeven.
You wonder if Jared Haas maybe just tries to match him and go small. Don't play with your bigs. Reed Travis was wide open that time. Sanders missed him.
Pickens moves in for the 2. Well, Pickens is feeling it and then clearly looking for a shot.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, I think, that he just needs one to go in, and that just gives him a jolt, and he's got it going here in the second half.
All right, an Arizona player trying to come up against the Sun Devils second half. Graham on the drive, and Graham draws a foul.
You know they're driving. Why are you fouling? Just keep them in front. Probably easier said than done because of the talent level of Graham and Holder and Evans, but you don't want to put them on the line. I mentioned in the first half, 75% as a team is really good for a college team from the free throw line.
Well-traveled Torian Graham. He's from Durham, North Carolina. He's bounced around college world until finally getting a chance to play this year, and it's the only year he's eligible to play for Arizona State. He's starting to make the most of it. It's 3 straight games over 20.
It's a shame, too, because he's talented, and he's only really going to get 1 year of college basketball.
He had 26 last week against Central Arkansas. That's his season high. Played 2 years at Chipola Junior College. Was in Buffalo briefly with Bobby Hurley.
He definitely has a skill, and that's being able to score the ball however many ways you want.
Saved there by Holder. So Arizona State with 2 bigs in the game, Oleka and Tashumpa. Holder using the ball screen. And Oleka just rising. And no Sun Devils there, as you can see.
They at least got it from one side to the other, but not a good shot by Oleka. especially with the game tightening up. 5-point game, you need better possessions than that.
Nice feed. Sanders got all the way in tight, took a little bit of a nudge, and still flipped it to Sharma.
Well, we wondered, Ted, how Stanford would respond, and they've responded well. Whether they win the game or not, who knows, but they have responded. They haven't backed away in this second half.
Oh, and Oleka drains that one off the nice drive and kick from Holder.
I'm telling you, moving the ball is better than dribbling the ball. So it's obvious tonight.
First field goal of the game for Oleka. He's a double-digit rebounder this year. Nice. And Sharma. He will get to the line, though. Missed the dunk. Listening to Don, he tried to slam that one home.
That's right. Don't lay it up, dunk it. Like that, Josh Sharma bringing the Cardinal back. Down 6.
Stanford fans, this time for the Cutco Alumni Emoji Cam. Make sure to match the emoji that you see on the video board, and you can see yourself up there on the video board. That's the first emoji. It's a smiley face. The second emoji. Now there's the emoji we're looking for. There you go.
The Utah Office of Tourism presents Life Elevated.
Dorian Pickens got a couple layups. Had a quiet first half for him, especially coming off those 7 threes against Idaho, and then that opened up the line for him. Much needed offensive production for Stanford to bring this back to a 2-possession game. You know, they have to, for now, get offense from Pickens just because the other guys aren't making enough threes. And what that does is pack in that defense, and now you can't get the ball into your best player, Reed Travis.
So Sharma will be at the line here, and he's giving Stanford nice minutes tonight, needed with Humphrey out, for Hooven sitting with 4 fouls. And that's now for Sharma, 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks.
When given the opportunity, take advantage of it. And Sharma going to get more minutes because of Humphrey being out. But if you play well, maybe that expands your role, even when Humphrey is back.
So we're coming up now 9 minutes in the second half. Arizona State does not have a 2-point field goal. 3 threes they've made in a half. Saved by O'Field. All right, Evans resetting under 10. Vila screens.
There you go.
O'Field down, blocked inside. Vila fouled inside.
See, that's all I'm saying. That high ball screen, and Evans is really talented, but I don't think you're going to weave through the entire Stanford defense and score. But if you throw it up in the air like he did to O'Field, you know, that's when it's good offense, when guys are moving and you're finding them.
So 2 fouls on Reed Travis.
He's the only guy not in foul trouble, I feel like.
So 4 fouls on Tshumpa for ASU and Verhoeven for Stanford.
The other thing we haven't talked about, Ted, with the way Arizona State is set up this year, is fatigue going to be a problem. You know, they turn it back around and play on Sunday. These guys are all going to play 30-plus minutes. Are they going to wear down? Maybe not early in January, but once you get into February, is this going to start to pile up?
Again, you're only talking about 10 dressed players for Arizona State, one of whom is a walk-on guard, Austin Witherill. So,
and you're only playing 8.
Yeah. Now, of course, I have another partner who would sit here and go, who needs 10? Who wants to sub?
Well, they're playing 8, but the first 5 and Graham are playing the majority of the minutes. So essentially, they're playing 5 or 6. But Tshumpa can't seem to stay out of foul trouble, so his minutes are never going to be high.
That's exactly the point. And there's Sheffield forcing one. Coming back in, and then you also look at a trip that everybody looks at, and well, actually Arizona State doesn't go there this year, so scratch that. They don't make the mountain trip. I'm just looking at their schedule. Everybody misses one road trip this year. That's the one Arizona State skips.
I would say at most years that's a good miss. I'm not sure this year. The Washington, as it looks right now, the Washington trip looks like the one that you don't want to miss.
Oleka inside. Oh, and Sharma's going to get called, and that's his 4th. So now Jared Haas will be put into at least a thought mode here. What do I do? He's got 4 fouls on Sharma, 4 on Verhoeven.
Sanders is coming in. Is he coming in for Sharma? And you're going small. Yeah. Reed Travis at the 5, which I think you can get away with against Arizona State. Reed Travis guards Oleka, and then it's all guards for Arizona State.
He's got to put Cameron Walker in the game as Oleka makes the first. So I think that's going to be the answer here. Sanders does come in, but so does Walker, and Walker is going to play in Sharma's spot.
So he'll,
or the
Walker's.
Well, we'll see.
Is Walker going to guard Graham? That would be the likely matchup. He's going to have to stay attached to him.
Would they dare put Travis on him? Oleka makes them both. So we're under 10. Fouls have bitten both teams' big players. And nice feed over the top. So Travis had Oleka on the front. Sanders threw it nicely over the top.
That over the top pass has been there, and Travis can go up and get it. But Arizona State a couple times hasn't had that backside rotation guy come over. Easy dunk for Travis.
And then a body foul here on Sheffield. That'll put Arizona State into the bonus. That's 7 on Stanford.
See, here's what I don't get, Ted. Why is Sheffield up pressuring the ball at 28 feet? You're not going to steal it from Evans. And you know he wants to drive, so why aren't you playing a couple feet off him? The pressure's not bothering him. But the threat of him going by you is real. So play off of him so that you can keep him in front. He's not going to pull it from 27 feet either.
And Don, again, I'm noting that a team that is heavily reliant on the three-point shot, Arizona State's getting to the foul line tonight. Pickens.
Well, I think they're getting to the line because Stanford has been pushing out, pressing out on those guards. So they're driving them, and tonight they're calling the hand checks. Yeah. So that's what's put them on the line.
ASU's had 26 free throws tonight. 26. Justice, good look. Wow, way strong there. And Sheffield going in. Hands on the ball, kept it. Nice lob inside by Sanders. You can see why Jared Hass is sticking with Sanders a little bit. He's made some awfully nice second half plays.
It's exactly what I said about Sharma. If you come in and play well, you're going to stay in. And that's exactly what's happened. Sanders has impacted the game in a positive way, so he's staying in. Another good play up top to Reed Travis.
So 5 points again. This is the narrowest it's been second half. 13 the halftime lead for ASU. Oh, nice switch and blow by Evans. And there's the setup, and Justice bangs it.
But again, why are you playing up on Evans? He's got a good burst. That was a good crossover. He gets into the teeth. Now it's kick out central. Justice knocks it down.
Foul there that's going to get us to the under 8 timeout. And watch, we were told about Evans. Good left hand setup here. Huh?
Yeah, you like the left-handers, Ted. Kick out Justice. Back to 8-point lead for ASU.
Well, a great game I almost said Matt Court. Sorry. That's habit. At the mat. And here's how it ended. And there's the shot you talked about. You talked about a pressure make by Dylan Brooks.
He's done it before, though. He's made some big shots in his career at Oregon, and that was a monster one to knock off the number 2 team in the country. That was a big-time game the other night.
That was a big – that's what it felt like. That's why I thought it was good for the conference to start.
The atmosphere, the players, all of it.
Bill Walton talking to Lonzo Ball as you see Bill's on hand. We are there in Corvallis coming up. UCLA and Oregon State next. Our game summary here presented by Tire Pros.
Torian Graham's been as advertised as a scorer. Pickens has gotten it going in the second half, and we knew coming in talking to all the Arizona State people, if they make threes, they have a good chance of winning. If they don't, they don't. And they're 11 of 18.
And Don, Bobby Hurley talked about this with us today. And it's the lack of interior size, inside strength he has. He said, we have a hard time defending twos. Everybody focuses on threes. And look at those numbers in this half for Stanford.
Well, they have no rim protection.
Yeah.
And, they don't rebound it great because of their size. So I think people take advantage of them in the paint and inside the three-point line, obviously. But because of their ability to make threes, especially tonight, they're keeping the lead.
So here's there's a missed foul shot by Travis. So here's, maybe I'm looking at that. Whoa, nice steal.
Play.
What a play by Sanders.
Those are the kind of plays that help you dig out games and win games that maybe you're not supposed to win based on how you played. That was big time for Sanders.
And how about this? Jared Hass has Sanders and Cartwright together on the floor with Sheffield.
Well, you got to guard the ball. Yeah. The problem for Stanford's been fouling Holder and Evans on their drives.
Holder! Whoa! And there's the kind of shot that will help the road team answer. Holder with 19.
That quiets the crowd right back down. A play by Sanders could have really energized this place. Holder silences them. ASU in a 2-3 zone. Stop the press as Bobby Hurley went to a zone.
Sanders comes in. Inside, Walker has it batted away by Graham. And here's where I was going with that number, Don, is to watch. So how does Stanford attack these last 7 minutes? Do they go for twos, understanding the success they've had?
I think you take what's available, and I think if you can get it into Reed Travis, those are twos.
That's a 3. You saw the terrific play again by Sanders.
But Pickens has heated up a little bit. It would be nice if he could knock down some threes. But I think this is one of those games, Ted, where you just got to find a way to score. It's been a tough night, but you still got a chance, as I said earlier, to dig this one out.
And that'll help Stanford. A quick shot, missed 3 by ASU. Travis going at Oleka, lost it. Saves it, trying to get a timeout, does. Travis had enough of the ball, was granted the timeout.
The fundamental problem with Stanford's offense, and it's obvious tonight, is they're turning down open threes, which allows Arizona State to not have to move as much, to pack it in more, and spend more time worrying about Reed Travis.
Stanford dead last coming into play tonight, dead last in the conference, 31% three-ball team. Torian Graham coming off the bench for Arizona State, our 6th man of the game, presented by Motel 6.
Ted, I love our Motel 6 and our partnership with them, but I think this is the first time where a guy really had the game resume to win a 6th man of the game award. Usually the guy's got like 4 points and 1 rebound. But this guy, 23 off the bench, that is a 6th man of the game.
Well, let's also say the guy's a starter. Bobby just doesn't start him on opening tip,
okay,
right? Yeah,
but
I know what you're saying.
I'm just happy we have a 6th man of the game tonight.
All right, Verhoeven back in the game for the Cardinal. And Cody Justice picks up that foul for ASU. That is his 3rd. And puts Verhoeven at the line.
Those hurt.
Yep, that's hurt. That's 2 points left there.
We're deep into this game now. 6 minutes to go. Front ends can come back to haunt you.
Stanford now getting that point as Graham's floater. Well done.
Come on, man. That's
25.
That's pro stuff right there. Come off the down screen, split the defenders, one-legged runner. That was nice.
And about to say, what Stanford hasn't been able to do is get into a one-possession score, which puts the squeeze on the visitors. It's been 5. That's the closest they've been.
Double opposite.
Sanders and Graham takes it away from Verhoeven.
Got numbers.
Wing 3, Evans. Well, you saw the ASU bench ready to erupt on that.
That would have made it difficult for Stanford had that gone down.
And Sanders back and draws a foul. Yeah, you could feel it. You could feel it. Bill, you saw the ASU bench. If Evans knocks that 3 down, they go crazy.
If you want to have some fun watching a basketball game, just watch Bobby Hurley on the sidelines the whole time. His reactions, everything. He is intense as they come.
Look at that.
He's got a 10-point lead right now, and he's
Don, is that the definition of a game face? What he was just talking with Del Rey Carr there? I mean, that is a game face.
He's intense before the game. I think he's going to have success at Arizona State. He had to undo some things there and get his own players in. He's got a great class coming in next year with a couple guys that are already on campus that are either redshirting or, are redshirting. I think they're going to make a big jump next year with the players they got coming in.
Right, he's right now he's trying to navigate probably to the next timeout. Evans just sat down with 4 fouls. And you assume that'll probably carry through to the under 4 timeouts. Sanders comes off the floor for Stanford.
Well, this is where justice becomes more important. He's got to think more offensive-minded with Evans out of the game. You know Graham's going to be offensive-minded.
Pickens on him. Travis stays on Justice. Step back off the screen.
Great call by Padilla, Tony Padilla there. He couldn't quite get past Cartwright. Used his right arm to push him off to create that space.
All right, 3 on Holder. So foul's starting to pile up on more than 1 or 2 significant players coming down to the final 5. Travis against Oleka. Sheffield. Oh, Sheffield been quiet for the last stretch.
Well, they ran that play to Reed Travis at the elbow. He was one-on-one. There was no secondary defender. I'd like to see him go and score that or get fouled.
Graham's going on Pickens. Goes right by him. Torian Graham thunders.
Torian Graham is showing us all tonight. Whoa!
Oh, Sharma back. All for naught. What an incredible sequence. And Sharma's going to be called over the back on the rebound foul.
The 7-footer's got some athleticism. Highlight reel play, but doesn't count. This Torian Graham, Ted.
Whoa.
I'm going to tell you what.
Wow. Sharma has fouled out. The erased basket and the 5th foul. It's a double hit for Stanford. Look at this.
Torian Graham is an isolation nightmare. I can't wait to see some of the better defending guards in this league try and deal with him. He goes right at Sharma. 2 hands. Man.
Opening night of the conference season, it is breakout night for Torian Graham. It's not Central Arkansas.
No. And by now, you know the Stanford huddle's talking about him and what they need to do to stop him. They have no answer. But if you can catch and shoot, you can put it on the deck, 1-2 bounce pull-ups, you can go runner floater in the lane, and then you can ISO, rip through and dunk on the guy rotating over. I'm not sure what defense there is for that.
And you're talking about, I'm waiting to think of who's going to guard him. I'm thinking, well, who is going to guard him? I mean, on the good teams.
I just said that. I'll come up with somebody.
Yeah, I know. All right, we got a lane violation there. Oleka on that free throw. O'Field stepped in the lane, so Oleka loses the second foul shot. Well, of course, all of that takes place against the backdrop. Stanford was very unhappy with the foul call on Sharma.
What about Rondé Hollis Jefferson? Oh, wait, he's not in the league anymore.
There you go. That would have been the match. But Stanford, you saw how upset they were, and what's a tough call that knocked Sharma out of the game and cost him 2 points, cost him 3 points, actually. Pickens gets 2 back.
Not going away, though.
O'Field on the foul, so Pickens will have the chance at a 3.
I can't say it enough that the more Pickens does that, the more it's going to help him and help the Stanford offense. Because if all the defense has to do is worry about him at the 3-point line, catching and shooting, that's easy. But now, if you're going closeout, deep closeout to the line because he can shoot it, you're thinking in the back of your head now he might drive it right past me, and that's what he's been doing in the second half.
Well, Stanford is committing the one thing a trail team doesn't want. They're leaving points at the foul line.
Now, if you're going to come on, man.
Graham, what hot?
I mean,
stay hot, Torian Graham. That is 30.
My goodness. And
he's putting on a show.
Putting on a show is right.
Yeah. Left-handed, that's Sheffield. First points in a while, 22 for Sheffield. But right now, Stanford has to find somebody to get in the face of Graham.
We don't see a ton of complete offensive players in our league very often. This guy, to me, and now this is the first time I've seen him, and he's having a good night, but he's shown me a lot of stuff offensively here individually.
Whew. Pick and pop. Oleka has the look. And now Stanford can't afford empty trips. Coming down towards 3, Sheffield. Nice move in. Sheffield, no. And of course, I was surprised because there was a continuation given earlier in this half, but this is the way the game's being officiated now. No continuation.
Torian Graham, he's showing like he wants to be MVP of the league this year. Wow.
by Weather Tech. Fans, thank you for supporting Stanford basketball. Join us again on Sunday, January the 1st at 5 p.m. as your Cardinals take on the Arizona Wildcats. Bringing the new year with Stanford basketball. And after Sunday's game, Keith Swollen will be invited to shoot baskets on the court. Buy your tickets for more information. Visit GoStanford.com. All right, Stanford, I have a couple of friends and they have something to tell you. What time is it? You heard them correctly. We got 4 t-shirts. Please you on your feet. We need your energy. Let's go!
Our Barbasol close shave player of the game, unanimous. Torian Graham.
He even has a buzzer beater at the end of the first half to put on top of all this that we're seeing in the second half. Here it is right here to push that lead out to double digits.
And again, Torian Graham is a one-and-done player of another kind.
Yeah.
He's had multiple colleges, junior college, and he's had off-court problems that are known. There's no hiding any of it. He's basically on his absolute 9th life at Arizona State this year, and he's taking terrific advantage to start.
It's a shame that he hasn't been able to play more high major Division I basketball because the talent offensively is off the charts. I mean, that shot doesn't look right. It doesn't look right coming out of his hands, but guess what? That thing goes in. 5 of 7 from behind the three-point line tonight. 12 of 16 from the floor. How about that debut in your first Pac-12 conference game?
All right, so now having said all that, here's Sheffield to the second shot. And again, we're a long way from done, and especially both Trey Holder now and Shannon Evans have 4 fouls for ASU.
1-2-2. Shave time off the clock. Trap by Stanford. ASU starts their half-court set with 20 on the shot clock.
Stanford, you see them
He
switching.
was
Travis
open.
comes out on Graham.
He was open earlier.
Justice with a crash, and Arizona State gets a new shot clock.
Said justice would be important. Little things like that are really important. You could take another 30 off the clock.
And now Pickens fouls, which is the last 1-and-1 foul for Stanford. Second personal on Pickens.
I think it's too early to start fouling. I don't know if he did that on purpose.
It looked like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 8. It's not 15. And now you might give him a free 2 points.
We're getting 1-and-1 here.
Holder 76 at the line.
Yeah,
I mean, I've said it a couple times. I mean, Arizona State is a good free throw shooting team. So if you're going to start fouling with 240, I'm not sure how well that's going to work.
And Holder has 21. That's his 3rd straight 20-point game. Hands by Justice. Sheffield in, and 1.
But the last thing you want to do if you're Arizona State on the flip side is foul.
And that's going to be the 4th foul on Justice. Justice took a swipe there, and that cost him. So Arizona State is basically, they're getting pushed right to the edge here. Now, Graham doesn't have the foul trouble. He only has 0, actually. But 3 other guards with 4 fouls.
See if Stanford goes back to that soft trap or that soft zone press. They are not really looking to steal it.
27 for Marcus Sheffield tonight.
Going to get the clock down. This is going to be difficult because you basically have 3 point guards on the floor in Justice, Holder, and Evans, and then Graham, who late in the clock can get his own.
And he wants it against Sheffield. Gives it up. Oleka goes. Travel. Oleka was going to pull up for that foul line, but he skipped along the court.
So at 7, they elected not to foul that time, which I think is smart. But you can't have any empty trips now if you're Stanford, I don't think.
And Jared Haas relying on Christian Sanders, the experienced man, the fifth-year man, but he's played well tonight. Sanders sets up Sheffield. Bang for Stanford. Good setup. A 30-point night for Marcus Sheffield, blowing away anything he's done in 2 years at Stanford.
Defensive breakdown by Arizona State, leaving Sheffield wide open in the corner. Sanders, just a simple side ball screen, and Holder's got to stay disciplined to the corner. Sheffield knocks it down. We got a 4-point game.
Now, this is the closest Stanford's been in the second half, right here with 1:50 to play. You see the situation, double bonus both ways. And we've had a dueling 30-point nights.
What you love about that is the efficiency. You get 30 on 14 FGAs. Graham on 17. It's not like an 8 for 24 night or something like that.
And you pointed it out earlier, Don, when he made a steal for a basket. But Christian Sanders is having a heck of a night for a guy that's no longer a starter, but he's playing the starters tonight. 10 points and 7 assists. So the crowd at Maples Pavilion trying to rally the home team in the final 2.
When you have an 86-82 game, there's going to be some guys with some inflated numbers. For Arizona State, you cannot get passive and run the clock down and not get
going
anything.
in. Holder going in. Trey Holder.
He fell hard.
Yeah, late coming back. Quick up to Sheffield. He's going in, and Justice fouls him to foul out. So Cody Justice prevents the layup by Sheffield. He's also fouled out of the game at 1:18.
Holder turns the corner. Nobody there. Big time finish, but in the air, that is going to be tough getting out of bed tomorrow morning. That's when those really hurt.
23 for Trey Holder. Bobby Hurley will bring O'Field in the game to replace Justice. So one guard out. And we're going to have Sheffield at the line for Stanford shooting 2. Would say that this young man is a starter to stay.
Way to go out on a limb, Ted.
Yeah.
Guy's got 30 in his second start of the year. I would say he's staying in the starting lineup. 31.
And he's had a perfect night at the line.
We thought this would be a good game, Ted.
Yeah.
We got a good game.
Again, the backcourt pressure. ASU breaks it. And Holder's bumped and fouled. So you're putting a good foul shooter back at the line. Sanders on the foul. And everything, again, is automatic 2.
Here's the tough thing for Stanford. You're down 2 possessions with 1:11. ASU can run out if you don't score. So you have to make a decision. Do you foul? But the problem with that, as I mentioned earlier, they're a very good foul shooting team. So I'm not sure what you do in this spot, but Holder's on the line for this possession.
As you saw where ASU stands in school history in this category, Holder buries another one. Graham with 30, Holder now 24. And 25, man, you talk about, that's McLean level foul shooting, man. That's absolutely just net.
Yeah, I was shooting some today before the game, Ted. I don't normally do that, but the stroke was feeling good.
Sheffield, wing 3 setting up. So that's an interesting play for Stanford. Verhoeven only had tried 6 threes all year.
That's why he was open.
And, yep.
Now,
So Vila,
depending what he does here, I think you got to be thinking. Well, if he misses both, you could still be thinking 2.
Yes.
And then foul quickly. Try and steal and then foul quickly.
oh, and Vila does open the door for Stanford. Sanders. Pickens. Oh, and he got fouled on a 3. And Holder, that could be crippling for Arizona State because Holder fouls on a 3, and it is his 5th.
I mean, you have to think the game. And that's just, I know you're late getting through that screen, but mental mistakes cost you games, and that is a mental mistake. You have 4 fouls on top of it. So not only do you give Pickens 3 free throws, but you take yourself out of the game with plenty of time left, 48.8. One less ball handler in the game and one less good free throw shooter.
There it is, right there, Don. And Pickens shoots 3. Oh, he pulled the string on that one. Let's see that ball come out short right from his fingertips. And each team with timeouts remaining.
Wow.
And both coaches, Hurley with a look of disbelief when his key player Holder commits the foul. And now you see Jared Haas with the same on Pickens' foul shooting.
82%.
82, yep. Arizona State must rebound here, but Pickens does make 1. How quickly will Stanford foul? Will they foul Evans? Yes, they do. Sheffield fouls Shannon Evans, who's an 88% foul shooter.
I mean,
and Evans is essential right now for Arizona State with both Justice and Holder having fouled out.
I would be thinking timeout here on made free throws for Bobby Hurley. Just remind your team to not foul. That's the only thing you can't do in this situation. Even if they score, it's fine, but don't foul them and stop the clock. He could make this a 3-possession game with a make.
And Evans does. So Evans follows the lead of Holder, calmly knocking them down.
Those 2 missed free throws by Pickens were huge.
Sanders got a lane. Sanders in and 1. Vila gets in the way and fouls. One thing,
I mean,
just can't do it. Wow.
I don't know what to say. I mean, it's time and score basketball and thinking about what you're doing, and it's okay if Sanders goes in there and lays it up. It really is. Oof. But it's not okay to foul him to potentially give him an extra point and stop the clock.
What a gift. And so Sanders now trying for the and 1. Makes that calmly. 13 for Sanders. 4 points. Still, Stanford has not been closer than 4. Oh, great move by Evans to get that in. Wow, Evans made a terrific move in the backcourt to free himself.
He's quick. He's got a nice burst. Ooh. Not only to get open there, but to also get by people.
There's the move he put on Sanders, and you know that he was basically the only guy that Arizona State wanted to get the ball.
Yeah. Well, he was the only guy in the front court.
Yes. So 2 more for Evans at 33 seconds.
If they could make 4 more free throws, I think they seal it here. Unless Stanford can get a 3 ball down. Let's see if Arizona State can have a defensive possession without fouling.
Amen. Look where they brought Vila up. Tops. Going to roll down with Travis Allen in the game. Gives it to Travis for the lay-in. And Stanford will use its final timeout. So 21 seconds, or 22.2. And a 4-point game, and that's been the barrier. Stanford was down 13 at the half. They They've been to within 4 several times here in these last 2 minutes, Don, and they haven't been able to put that run together that you always expect the home team to make.
No, but win or lose, I would say this, Ted, that Jared has to be happy that his team came out with some fight in the second half and competed and made it a game. Down 13, weren't matching the toughness of Arizona State. They're now matching the toughness, but just missed plays, missed opportunities, missed free throws have hurt Stanford.
And I can't help but think, Don, that Conzo Martin's going to run a practice tomorrow at Cal. And he's going to make sure that all of his players are introduced to Torian Graham.
Oh.
And he's going to have a guy wearing number 4 in a jersey, and they're going to be glued to him.
And whoever that number 4 is for Cal, no offense, isn't going to be anywhere near as good as Torian Graham is offensively.
Of course, that's where ASU will play Sunday night. They'll play in Berkeley. And that's the story to me that comes out of this game for Arizona State. Neither of us had seen the Sun Devils play this year, so you see Torian Graham and you go, okay, that's real.
No, it's obvious when you see scores, guys that just have that knack. It doesn't matter where they're at on the floor, what shot they're taking. They get buckets.
But right now, can ASU close here and get a road win? There's so few road wins in recent years for the Sun Devils. They lost their first 5 conference roadies last year.
I think you mentioned it earlier, Ted. 5 of their first.
That's out of bounds off Evans. That's out of bounds off Evans is the ruling. And I think they're going to make sure of this. Tony Padilla is going to come over.
Yeah, he touched it.
Allen got a piece. And they see what Shannon Evans is saying, go look at it. So Tony Padilla immediately is going to walk over to the screen to look.
Well, this game hasn't been long enough, so let's extend it some more. See if we slow it down. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Now, again, Tony's got, you see where Tony is. Tony Padilla coming off a Final Four.
But here's the thing.
He has the best look at it. Does he see something conclusive to change?
Even if he didn't touch it, isn't it still Stanford ball? Because nobody touched it.
Did Allen touch it? Did Allen not touch it? I don't know. That's what. You're right. If no one touches it, it's Stanford ball. Absolutely.
David Feldman, can we see that again?
Yeah, let's see. Does Allen touch this ball? See, I think Allen may have flicked it with his left hand.
Yeah, he may have touched it. You're right.
Right there.
Yep.
I think it's pretty clear that Marcus Allen touched it. I'm not so sure if Evans touched it.
Did the rotation of the ball change when it was by Evans's arm?
And here comes that challenge again because Tony made the call on the court from about 3 feet away. Does he see something on video conclusive to change? Nope. The answer is no. It's Stanford ball, 21-3. And would you say here Stanford goes for 2?
I would go quick 2 and foul again. The problem is Arizona State's not missing any free throws.
Sheffield's going. No, they're going to set up Pickens. And the rebound to Oleka, and that will put Arizona State in a very good spot at 12-3, no Stanford timeouts.
Can't make it more than a 2-possession game, though. So even if he makes both, still 6.
Yep.
You're going to need quick 3s now if you're Stanford.
Well, Stanford has been brilliant at the 2-point shot in the second half. Not so good on the 3. And I'm with you on that last possession. I thought there was enough time at over 20 seconds that you try to go right and get 2.
Well, look, they ran a set, sideline out of bounds play. Pickens got a pretty good look.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't fault him for going for 3 when you get a good look. It wasn't like it was a forced 3, but he didn't make it.
No ASU rebounders on the line as Oleka makes 1.
I'd let Stanford score here.
Yep, Stanford.
Not even
Sheffield
close to
3. Sheffield 3. The Arizona State has to inbound. They do to Evans. Still plenty of time.
Now it's interesting because
and the clock did not start after that inbounds pass. So we'll see if Bobby Hurley asks for that. Sheffield made the 3. Arizona State inbounded the ball, and the clock did not start. So we're going to put Evans at the line, but this is going to give Stanford, unless Evans can knock them both down, it will give Stanford a hope.
He needs both here for sure. And if I make one, I'm fouling on the inbounds. 100%.
Well, Shannon Evans has been flawless down the stretch. Does he have one more in him? Yes. He's made 6 in a row in the closing moments.
What you got to have from your guards.
And just can't. Double dribble called on Cartwright. And Arizona State is about to pull off a terrific conference opener. Oleka's foul, yeah, exactly.
Don't throw it towards your basket.
Well, that was another Cardinal rule violation.
Wow.
We've had a few here, no pun intended.
Mental mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. But Shannon Evans and Trey Holder have combined here after Graham was the offensive star for much. But down the stretch, Holder, before he fouled out, made 4 foul shots, and Evans has made 6 in a row.
And I talked to Bobby today about playing small in the guards and how reliant they are on guard play and making threes. But this is what you get if you get into close games. You have good guys that can make foul shots, that take care of the ball. I mean, on the road, low turnovers for Arizona State tonight. And so taking care of the ball, not giving away possessions, but then, as you said, salting the game away at the free throw line. Not everybody has that.
They've done it. And so it is Arizona State with a road win. So precious last year. They had just 5 wins in conference play. And Bobby Hurley brings his guard-oriented, guard-driven team to Stanford, and they win it. And look at the score. Right in the Sun Devils' wheelhouse, 98-93. Thanks to our Pac-12 Network team with Don McClain, Ted Robinson saying good night from Stanford.
Good game, man. Tom McClain, good to meet you.
The singing of our alma mater.
Hold on. Say it again. Yeah, you're low, but I got you. Arizona State wins on the road. I'm here with Torian Graham. Torian, your introduction to the Pac-12 Conference tonight, 30 points. How'd you get it going?
First, I would just like to thank my teammates for just putting me in situations to get open shots in rhythm.
One thing that stood out to me, Torian, was your ability to score in so many different ways. A lot of guys are drivers. A lot of guys are catch and shoot. You showed us a lot of stuff on the offensive end tonight.
Yes, sir. I can't thank my teammates enough and Coach Hurley enough to just put me in different spots on the floor to be able to put myself in situations to score the ball.
What are you guys talking about as a team? You're pretty small, so it's one of those things where everybody's got to help out on the board, and you guys got to defend some bigger lineups, and this was a bigger lineup. You guys got it done tonight.
Yes, sir. Just play harder than the other team. Basically, every day in practice, we get after each other. We work on rebounding a lot, so just try to out-hustle the other team.
All right, Torian, thanks. Good game.
Nice to meet you.
Bad dismount there. Yeah.
Get that speaker, bro. Go get it real quick, man. Shit, bro.
We're gonna get our rest now, right? We're gonna enjoy this. Enjoy how hard you fought together, man. How you stayed together through foul trouble, all kinds of stuff. Made all kinds of plays on offense and defense. Not always all the time on defense, but enough on defense to get over the top. All right? Unbelievable effort. Way to show the heart that you need to show on the road. Great fucking win. Yeah! 1, 2, 3, right?
Get out of here. Yeah, buddy. Big three. Big fuck like the balls, hey.
Free throws.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
Hey, I'm ready to get on some of that Herbo in this jump. Yeah.
Get that speaker, bro. Go get it real quick, man. Shit, bro.
We're gonna get our rest now, right? We're gonna enjoy this. Enjoy how hard you fought together, man. How you stayed together through foul trouble, all kinds of stuff. Made all kinds of plays on offense and defense. Not always all the time on defense, but enough on defense to get over the top. All right? Unbelievable effort. Way to show the heart that you need to show on the road. Great fucking win. Yeah! 1, 2, 3, right?
Get out of here. Yeah, buddy. Big three. Big fuck like the balls, hey.
Free throws. Appreciate it.
Hey, I'm ready to get on some of that Herbo in this jump. Yeah.
Conference opener at Maples Pavilion, and Arizona State puts on an offensive show. 98-93. They outlast Stanford, a guard-driven team, Arizona State, and their veteran guard, Dontre Holder, terrific night.
All their guards were terrific in different ways. Holder on the catch and shoot. He had the ball in his hands a lot, made plays. But that's the thing, when you have three guys in Graham, Evans, and Holder that can all get their own, it makes it really difficult to deal with. And so if Holder's got it going, then you got to key on him. The other guys get it going. Sheffield out of nowhere with a career high, way surpassing his last career high. And maybe they've stumbled onto some here. They put him in the starting lineup. All you need is confidence sometimes, and tonight is a definite confidence builder for Sheffield.
Arizona State led by 13 at the half. They never let Stanford draw even in the second half. And for a team that's had few precious road wins, Arizona State got it, and Torian Graham was immense.
He was impressive tonight, not because of the numbers, but the way he got the numbers. A variety of different ways in how to score the ball. That at the end of the first half to beat the buzzer. He's a big-time scorer. I don't think tonight was an aberration. I think this guy knows how to score, and he's going to continue to score. And Pac-12 teams better figure out a way to deal with him.
Boy.
Because that was